Roses and Rhetoric, episode number 45. Unfortunately, my scrappy co-host cannot make this episode once again, but fortunately, we have our guest co-host today, Ginny from the GandTea Podcast. You might have remembered her from previous episodes, but nonetheless, we have an amazing episode today. As many of you know, I've been traveling for the past month, and Ginny has been part of that for a big chunk of it. And we're going to talk a little bit today about our travels and some of the things we've done. And Ginny, I know you have a list of things you want to talk about. What's cooking on the agenda?
Yeah, well, thank you for the introduction, Joe. Hopefully I can live up to Jimmy's scrappiness on this episode. I'll give it my best shot.
Actually, before we get into that, why don't you tell us what you're drinking today?
Oh, yeah. So today, well, we started off with one little shot of Jägermeister. We are in Austria currently. We're on top of a mountain in the Alps. We're pretty excited about that, actually. We just climbed to the very top, and it was really beautiful, so that was awesome. Very cold, though, as you can imagine. And then in this glass right here, cup, we have coffee. I asked for whipped cream and I asked for Baileys. They were out of Baileys, so instead we are doing rum in the coffee. I did get a little bit of a weird look for asking for whipped cream on my coffee. But hey, in America it's normal, I guess, just not here. So, and some water.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace to be drinking actual coffee. We spent about a month in Italy, and it was nonstop espresso shots everywhere we went.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because I like espresso, and they serve it late too, which I also like.
Yeah, the late night coffee is pretty awesome. I do think that would be a really great touch that America could have, but I don't know. I don't know why we don't. Do you have any theories, Joe?
I don't know. People in the U.S. just don't eat and drink that late, unless they're boozing, unless they're like going out. But in Europe and Italy, it's pretty common to be eating dinner like no earlier than 9 p.m. or so.
Yeah, that's so true. We've noticed we probably eat lunch normally around like 3 o'clock to 3, sometimes even hitting 4 o'clock. And then dinner oftentimes is around 9 p.m. Breakfast is around 10, so about the same time. But I actually like it a lot more than my eating schedule in the U.S., but I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, way more relaxed.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's run through the list. What do we got?
Okay.
What's on the agenda?
Put down a few different things. So I wanted to kind of do like a little comparative of the places we've been. So we've been to Greece, Italy, and now we're in Austria. Joe, I wanted you to tell me the highlights and lowlights of each country. You can do one for each, a highlight and a lowlight.
I'd say that the highlight or the lowlight of Greece is just like how poor it is and how like dirty everything is and how like you kind of feel like you're going to be mugged every couple of minutes. Well, depending on the city. Athens for sure. Maybe some of the islands, Mykonos, Santorini, not so much. The islands were they were fun, but they were also kind of a buzzkill just because there were so many like tourists and party people, and I don't know. It wasn't like a real like community type atmosphere. So that's what I would say for Greece. The pro of Greece, they have really good tobacco, I would say, compared to Italy.
Joseph, have you been smoking tobacco?
Well, everyone does it here, so I figured that in order to get the full cultural experience, you probably need to try it. Italy, I would say that the best part is the food. I eat pizza every single day, and it was cheap. It was only like 10 euros or like just over $10
I could attest to that.
to have an entire pizza, and it was all just fresh ingredients, fresh tomato sauce, fresh cheese. The thing I didn't like about Italy is that they're just highly inefficient at everything they do.
Wait, 1 second. You didn't say the pro of Greece.
Tobacco.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Tobacco.
You should tell the pod what you've been calling tobacco here.
What have I been calling it?
Tell us the name that you've been calling it.
Tobacco.
No, you've been calling it something tobacco.
Okay, I think you've been calling it wacky tobacco.
No way. Joe,
Wacky tobacco means something totally different, which
Really?
you can't find in Europe very easily, unlike regular tobacco, which you can find.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what you meant the whole time. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about tobacco.
Anyways, I don't like how inefficient the Italians are. It just, nothing ever starts on time. Nothing ever works. They're all form and no function, in other words.
Yeah.
Contrasted with Austria and Germany, I imagine. I haven't been to Germany besides the airport, but Austria seems pretty similar. And they're all function, no form. Right? Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would. Absolutely.
We can give some more examples of that later, but let's hear your.
Wait, what's your pro for Austria?
For Austria?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all function. Everything works for us super well.
And then the
cable cars, the trains, everything's labeled properly.
Yeah. Well, in the
Everything
con
works.
it's not.
In the gym.
Form.
The gym.
Oh, the gym. The saunas.
So everywhere we've gone, I've always tried to make an effort to go to the gym in every place. And Italian gyms are obviously just like super not well run. But
yeah,
we finally, after like months of all this inefficiencies, got to the Austrian gyms, and it was cheap. We got there. We got a pre-workout that they made right on the spot before we lifted. We went to the weight room. They had a great weight room, plenty of equipment. They had a hip thrust machine, which I've never seen before in a gym. And then the best part, then we got a protein shake afterwards.
Yeah, the protein shake was the best protein shake I've ever had in my entire life.
And then we went to the sauna. And the sauna was very different than the U.S., I would say. First of all, they had 4 or 5 different saunas. They had the Finnish sauna. They had like the bio sauna. They had just a whole range of different saunas with different temperatures and humidity levels. But the first thing and it's a co-ed sauna. And the first thing before you enter the sauna, there's a big sign, or the sauna area. And it's a sign with swimsuits, like male swimsuit and female swimsuit, and a big X through them. And it says something in German, which I think is like naked only. So there's literally no clothes allowed in this area. I mean, you can have a towel, but it was pretty interesting.
That was very interesting. And I would say,
there's a dead moth in my face.
Oh, yuck.
That's great.
A little protein. Never hurt anybody. Yeah, that was interesting. I would say like the culture in America is pretty modest, right? So yeah, that felt pretty different. I was like hiding in my towel the whole time. Same with Joe. But it was really nice, honestly, to just like work out and then go in the sauna and relax. And they also had the steam room too. But after going in like 100 degrees Celsius sauna,
yeah, the Finnish one was 100 degrees Celsius. It was hot.
So hot. And then going in.
It's like a sauna in there.
And then going in a steam room, it's just not the same. So, yeah, it was really nice. I really liked that part. And the protein shake was delicious. And, yeah, I'd get a membership there.
For sure. It was like for the pre-workout, the post-workout, the membership, or the day pass, and all the sauna access. It was like €25 each.
So something I've noticed. So sometimes they'll ask you to, like, leave a passport or something. At the places we'll go to in order to rent things. And Joe has been, for the most part, holding our passports. And I've been catching on to something that Joe's been doing. Joe gives my passport always to the attendants.
Well, yeah. I don't want to get stuck here.
Because, thank you for admitting it. At first, I feel like you didn't admit it, but Joe wants me to get stuck here. Or what's your reasoning? Just genuinely, like...
Yeah, I don't want mine to get stuck. Like, I'm holding the passport, so the tax is that whenever they ask for a passport and collateral, I give yours, not mine. And that's just the price you pay for me holding the passports. But anyways, why don't you continue? What were your pros and cons?
So,
let's get back to it.
Anyways, we left the passport at the gym. That was my one bad part of the gym, but we got it back, so no worries. My pros and cons? I would say definitely the pros for Greece was going to Delphi. I really love ancient history. It's really beautiful and it was really exciting. Con, definitely like the dirtiness. It wasn't everywhere in Greece. It was just in Athens, I would say. I didn't really think it was that nice, but I did think the Parthenon was really beautiful, and I'd really recommend going there no matter what if you go to Greece. And yeah, go to the islands. The islands are really fun. They're very touristy. It did kind of feel like a beauty pageant at most of the places on the islands. You can just tell everyone is very wealthy, very like, I don't know. It was just maybe a little bit too much. Didn't feel like relaxing. Um, and then for Italy, I would say, I don't know. It was kind of different. Like you can tell it's a very like male dominated society or like culture. So it was kind of very interesting to see that. I was telling Joe like women there, they don't feel like the main character as much as men do, I suppose. So that was kind of interesting to see. I would say maybe that's a con. I don't really know. It's just a cultural difference. So I don't really know if it's a con for sure. Pro, I loved being able to walk everywhere. That was really nice to do. I just feel like in America we've kind of like lost touch of being able to walk places just because it's so spread out, and obviously we're not maybe as healthy as some of these other countries. So
Well, I was reading an article that suggested that one of the reasons that people like college so much is because it's the one time that they get to live in a livable community or a walkable community.
I actually
in the US.
completely agree with that. That's how I felt in college, and then when I left college, it was a little bit strange because I couldn't walk really anywhere. I mean, I love living in Portland. It's a great city, and I have chosen a place where I can walk everywhere. You laugh at me, but hey, you can't say it's not walkable.
It is walkable. That's about all it's got going for it right now, though.
And I don't really drive, so it's really nice being able to walk everywhere. Austria, I would say, it's been really interesting, like hearing the German language here. Me and Joe were talking about how German is like, or I mean English is like, you can hear the German words that come from it, and then you can hear the Latin words that come from it, and so that's pretty cool, I think. And then cons, I don't know, leaving my passport, but I don't know if it's necessarily about the country. No cons yet. I'll let you know, or maybe Joe can update you guys next week.
Will do.
What do you think, Joe?
Great. I think that's a pretty solid pros and cons list. I think we can post it straight to the Rick Steves travel forum.
Okay, let's do it. My next thing for you is I wanted to talk about Uncle Gilly. Or is it Cousin Gilly?
I don't know. I think we'll go with Uncle Gilly. So we just came from Venice. That was our last spot in Italy. And right before we were leaving Venice, I came privy to knowledge that I have an uncle in Italy that owns a restaurant very close to Venice, about a 2-3 hour drive. And we've kind of been taking this trip day by day. We don't really know where we're going to stay until that day, maybe that morning. Actually, we still don't really know where we're going to be staying tonight. But yeah, so my uncle, Italian dude, has an Italian restaurant in Italy. So we're like, oh, we have to go to it.
No, it's a Brazilian restaurant.
Yes, it's a Brazilian restaurant.
In Italy.
Yeah, in Italy. And it got really good reviews, and it was like right on the beachfront, right on the waterfront. And we were planning on going there, and then last minute we just kind of decided like it was like a Italian holiday on Sunday, and everything was just super expensive. It was kind of tough to get there. And we had made some Italian friends in Venice that we were talking with, and they didn't say it was that great of a town. So we just decided to pack up and head towards Austria instead. So unfortunately, Uncle Gilly, if you're listening to this, we didn't get to see you this time, but
we're thinking about you.
We are thinking about you, and we definitely will return someday.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you have anything to add for Uncle Gilly?
No, not really. I just think that can be like the funniness of it. Just the last day that we're leaving, and we're like, oh, we're going to Austria. Like when me and Joe like leave a place, there's oftentimes like a good amount of discussion as to like where we're going, because we don't have a plan, so we kind of we really are winging it. So we finally decided like, oh, we're going to Austria, we're gonna do that, we're gonna go to Innsbruck, that's where we're at now. And then Joe, I don't know, it's like 10 p.m. the night before we leave. It's like, I just got off the phone with my sister and she says we should go visit Uncle Gilly. And then Joe is like, well, we'll just stay at Uncle Gilly's house. And then he shows me a photo of Uncle Gilly. And he's like photos of like of knives and stuff.
Oh yeah, he's a professional
He's a chef.
cook. He's a professional chef.
I don't know, just the comedy of the whole thing I think was what really got me. But me and Joe are a little bit opposite. I like to have a little bit more of a plan. Joe does not. So I guess it does kind of balance each other out, at least for traveling with each other, because sometimes I'm like, Joe, we need a plan, like decide. But then he makes me be spontaneous, so I think it's a good thing.
Great. So what's next on the list? I like it. We're running through it. Which is good because we're currently set up at a restaurant here. A pretty full restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's been a lot of news recently, specifically around the Middle East and around Afghanistan. And I know Ginny, being a big political science geek like you are, like a big person that follows the news and likes to keep tabs on the global temperature. What's your take? What are your thoughts on the situation?
Yeah.
Maybe you can brief our viewers on what's going on. And yeah, let's start from there.
So, oh no. How about you warm us up, Joe?
Well,
how about you warm us up?
I will say that in preparation for today's podcast, we did go to an Afghani restaurant yesterday. in the city of Innsbruck.
Yeah.
And it was delicious. I had a beef skewer, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Does that jog your memory at all? Does that get you?
How about you warm it up just a little bit more? I had like a chicken dish. It was pretty good.
A chicken dish, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, nothing good is happening there. Apparently, the Taliban have taken over, and with taking it over, they've acquired a bunch of weapons and a bunch of firepower and whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. Do you have anything to add?
I guess we have a few thoughts about it. I'm gonna say we, because me and Joe have kind of pre-discussed this a little bit. So we watched CNN yesterday, and we heard the Taliban spokesman give a
It's
briefing.
the only news station available in Europe.
Yeah, that's in English that I can understand. We've actually found a lot of American shows on television, but of course they're all dubbed with German voices, so can't really understand. Anyways, we're watching CNN with the Taliban spokesman, and he was saying, a woman was doing the interview with him, and he was saying that women are still going to be able to go to school under Taliban rule, and we're going to see a little bit more coming up. I'm a bit curious about that. I'm very concerned about the women and children that are in Afghanistan right now. We also watched the president's speech, which I thought was pretty good. I don't think... what were your thoughts?
I thought it was a good speech. It was a good work of persuasion. I think that it was good for his base, and I thought it was a good speech overall. But one thing I'll say is that being in Europe, you're exposed to just how many different societies and civilizations come to be and collapse, and how common that was, especially in Europe back in the day, and how it's like kind of more of like a rare thing that this doesn't happen more often. So the fact that this all is going down in Afghanistan is just kind of, it's like it almost like makes it seem like, oh, this is just like a normal piece of human history, and yeah, you just got to let the pieces fall, and hopefully things get reorganized in a peaceful way that's good for the world. And it looks like they have been pretty peaceful with their insurrection, if you will. Like there's like videos of them like lifting weights and like in the palace gym and like riding like bumper
Go-karts.
carts and like the amusement parks and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been like somewhat of a peaceful transition, it seems. So hopefully that trajectory continues.
Yeah. Well, we like to listen to the Scott Adams podcast. Joe is a big fan. I didn't really know about him until I met Joe, so I've been listening a little bit more. And Scott was kind of saying things along the lines of, apparently they found like weapons and maybe there's tracking devices in them, and that maybe it's like the government's secret plan to have the Taliban somewhere we can find them more easy. But at the same time, after listening to the president's speech yesterday, he was saying things along the lines of, maybe it's in our best interest just not to get involved because we can't fight a civil war that really has nothing to do with us.
Well, you're right. He was saying that it's very hard to fight an enemy where you don't know where they are. So, like, if the Taliban is hidden in caves, like spread apart, different places, different locations, it's difficult to know where they are and to have any meaningful sort of conflict against them. But he's saying that maybe it was a mistake for them to take over somewhere because now we know exactly where they are. We have a target. Like, everywhere has a target now. So if they mess with somebody else, then they have a target. We know where they are. Like, it's easy to take them out if they need be.
Yeah.
So maybe that will be a deterrent for them to behave a little bit more on the world stage. I don't know. Time will tell.
All I can hope and pray for is the safe return of our troops from Afghanistan right now, and hope everyone's okay. All right. Next topic? Or do you have anything else to say?
Moving on. I'm getting enough dirty looks talking about this right now.
Really? Are you? Okay. Question for you, Joe. We've obviously spent a good amount of time together. What are your thoughts? Like, have you learned anything about the human condition? Have you learned anything about yourself after spending this much time with someone? What are your thoughts?
I've definitely learned to develop more patience, which is good. It's an important virtue. It's an important skill to have. Patience is a virtue. And yeah, I mean, the more patient you are, if you're the most patient person on earth, you'll really never get angry. You'll never get frustrated. You'll never get nothing. So patience is an excellent virtue to have. And I thank you for helping me to develop that skill over this past month.
Wait, are you saying you've been frustrated with me?
No, because I have patience.
But you said you've been working on the patience.
Yes. How about you? What would you say?
Well, I've learned a lot about you. I've learned a lot about Joe. Because when you spend time with someone, you inherently, different parts of them come out. So yeah, I mean, that's been really interesting. What I've learned about myself, I'd say I'm pretty patient too. Sometimes you just have to laugh. We've had a lot of...
You can't steal mine.
Hey, yes I can. Because if it's true to me, then I can take it. I don't know. Sometimes you just have to laugh. And there are plenty of those when I'm around you. I won't get into the story that happened this morning.
It's nothing special, don't worry.
I don't know. Nothing. I don't know. I feel like I've learned more about you than I have about myself, but
wow.
It's been fun.
Well, I am a very mysterious person, so it doesn't surprise me that you continue to learn things about me. All right, what's next?
Let's see here. Oh, so I know Joe updated you guys that he had COVID. Joe gave me COVID as well.
No, Ginny gave me COVID. Let's be real about this.
So I am vaccinated. I worked at a hospital. Got vaccinated pretty early in March. Joe started coming down with something. Was feeling very lethargic, really hurt, just weak, tired, just not feeling good.
Yeah.
Then he got this rash.
Well, early on, I want to say that I started expressing some of these feelings of feeling not so great. Maybe maybe as I carried both of our luggage up and down the steep hills of Capri, like I started getting a little bit winded, like I wasn't really feeling that good. And I told Ginny, I was like, hey, you know what? Something's just not right. I don't really feel good. Wait, hold on, let me finish. And her solution was to buy me more wine and get me drunk, so I stopped complaining.
Okay, this is out of context. So, no, the time when
I have the worst disease in the past 100 years, the worst flu, and her solution is to get me more wine, so I stopped complaining.
Joe is a little bit confused about the chronological order of the story. So, what first happened was Joe had an allergic reaction to his sandals he was wearing. I've never heard of someone having an allergic reaction to their sandals, but one of the things I've learned about Joe actually is he gets hurt a lot. He was kind of telling me he gets hurt a lot, and I was like, "Oh, Joe, you're funny." But right when we get to Athens, he falls in a pothole, twists his ankle.
Well, I'm a Pisces, so I'm very prone to foot problems.
Yeah, this is something I told him. I was like, Joe, I bet foot problems is something that's related to Pisces, and we looked it up, and it's true. Anyways, you fell in a pothole, and then
it wasn't a pothole. It was a sewage drain cover that broke when I stepped on it, and it twisted my ankle.
But like only Joe, right? And then I don't know. I feel like there's something else in there. He hurt something. I don't know. The bug bites. So he got a lot of bug bites. They're really painful. And then he has an allergic reaction to his sandals. And when I say an allergic reaction to his sandals, I mean there were blisters that were boiling with pus. It was terrible. I was like popping his blisters on his feet, and I felt so bad for him. And originally he was like, "Oh, I'm feeling lethargic. I'm tired." I didn't realize he had also had COVID. So he's kind of finishing up this like foot problem, and then he got COVID. So Joe has this foot problem that he's been complaining about, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm tired," and I was like, and this was in Rome, so this was not in Capri yet.
And just to finish on just around on this foot problem, so I found out that it's like pretty common. Like there's certain diseases or certain like irritants, like poison ivy. You come into contact with it, you don't get a rash, you don't get symptoms for maybe weeks later. So I had bought these new sandals for this trip, brand new pair of Chacos. They rolled up to my door. I put them on right when they come out of the box, and I didn't take them off for 3 weeks.
You wore them literally every day.
I wore these shoes every day for 3 weeks.
And we were looking at photos that we had taken after he had gotten the rash, and he's wearing the Chacos in every single photo.
Yes, and then I'm walking through the Vatican. I look down, and then I just see these like bug bites on my feet. And I just think they're bug bites, no big deal.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, my feet swell up to twice their size. I can't even put a shoe on.
I think they
progressively bleeding, they're blistering.
Progressively were getting worse for like a week.
It was horrible. And it was really in bad. The pattern of a Chaco, in the Z-shaped pattern of the Chaco is where the disease was forming.
Poor guy.
But anyways.
Funny. Someone just asked us for a lighter. Where was I going with this?
And then I got the COVID.
Then we're at a restaurant in Rome. And this is during the height of the blisters on the feet. Joe's like, he's like, I'm tired. I'm like, Joe, drink more wine. Like, you'll feel better. And he's been, poor guy, he's been talking about his blisters and stuff. And this was before they were really, really bad on his feet. They were just like kind of bad. We didn't know they were going to keep getting worse. So I did say that once. However, later that day, we look at the feet. They're terrible. I take this photo or video of them because I wanted to look at them up close. And they're like pussing. It was so bad. I felt so bad for you. after that, it felt a little bit more compassionate. When we did our boat Capri tour, Joe had to wear socks the whole time because he was
Swimsuitless socks.
Yeah, because he was embarrassed about his poor feet, and I felt so bad for
You
him.
had to keep the sun off them.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was like, Joe, dry those things out. And we have photos of him in Capri, and he's like asleep, passed out. Little did we know he probably had COVID. So he was feeling like absolute, crud. He was feeling so bad. And then I was like telling Joe, like, oh, I love swimming. And then Joe was like, I love swimming more. And I was like, and we kind of like bet each other, like, who could swim better. And we go on this boat tour and we get to like stop and swim. And Joe is just like exhausted swimming. And I'm just like, here, Joe, take my floaty. And I'm just like swimming around without a floaty. Joe has 2 floaties. And
She's like, let's just go over here. Let's go over to this cave.
yeah.
Like 500 meters away.
I'm like
"Let's just
diving
swim over
under
there."
the water, like really deep.
Like, oh.
And Joe's just like, I can't do it. And then finally we like leave Capri, we go to Florence. Joe was just feeling like not good. Joe at that point was like, I'm done drinking, I can't drink. I don't think he was drinking for like a week, and we had been drinking wine every day since Greece, and even in Italy it's just, here, have a liter of wine, like that's just like the standard essentially for a meal. So yeah, we're in Florence, we're gonna leave Florence, and I have a flight the next day, and we're like, okay, Joe, like take a COVID test, because at that point he had actually gotten a rash all over his chest and his arms. He takes the COVID test and comes back positive. And I'm like, oh no. So then I take my COVID test, and I'm also positive. So yeah, we both got COVID. It was pretty bad. And I actually had no symptoms at that point, so I really, I don't know like how long I had it for. I got sick, I think the next day is when I started feeling really bad. We just presented a lot, like our sickness presented differently.
Totally different. I don't think we shared any of the same symptoms besides the fatigue.
Yeah. Like I had full on like body aches, like really bad body aches. I don't know, just a terrible head cold. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I'm still having a little bit of that. I lost all of my smell and taste, so I can't really. I'm actually finally getting it back. It's been like a month since I've had COVID, so finally getting it back, which is really exciting. And then I would say maybe like 2 weeks after COVID, I'd recovered. I like had that terrible headache. I like had the worst migraine of my entire life, like full on like getting sick. Like it was pretty bad. I think Joe was pretty scared. It was just really bad. So I don't know. Hopefully, long COVID doesn't affect us too bad. I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add to that? There's just a lot with COVID that we didn't expect.
The worst part is just like not being able to like do anything, just being like quarantined and like worried about infecting other people and that type of thing. But
and then like you like at least like I wanted to help you, but then it was like I'm sick, and then you probably felt the same for me, like you wanted to help me, and there's just really nothing you can do. There's a loud crowd going by us right now, so we'll just wait a second. I wonder if the camera's or the mic's picking it up.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. It was hard to see you like that.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. I would not recommend it. I assume we got the Delta variant, the cool new one. But it feels good to be completely immunized. I mean, I know you thought you were immunized because of your vaccination, but with vaccine and having COVID, I bet you feel, super immune now. You have nothing to fear at this point.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but anyway, I think this was a good quick update for what's been going on. Do you have more items on your list?
I did. I wanted to talk about your Italian heritage.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be on the record.
Yeah, so I think Ginny's a little upset that I'm Italian and that she's not, and that walking through Italy, it's kind of my homeland. It was kind of my place, my people.
I just want to set the record straight. Joe is 18% Italian.
No.
I did the math, and it's 18%.
Okay, so this is going off like Ancestry.com. The data is like varies wildly. Like it said that.
Really?
It said that my uncle, it was an uncle, so it wasn't even my mom, it was my uncle, which should be the same, but could be different. And the ranges are like, okay, you can be anywhere from 0 to 20% this, 0 to 20% of that. But my grandmother, her parents immigrated from Italy. She's 100% Italian. She married a Polish man and had my mom and my uncles. So therefore, I'm 25% Italian, 25% Polish. And the data from Ancestry.com, those numbers fell well within that the error range. So I'm a quarter Italian. I'm sorry you have to hear that. I'm sorry you're not any Italian, but that's what I am. And to make it even worse, I'm also an eighth.
A Pisces?
I'm also Pisces, and I'm also Spanish.
There you have it,
How does
folks.
that feel?
That's Joe's ethnicity. We'll have to run the numbers when we get back and do an actual.
I'll have to get my own
ancestry
test just so I can prove it. But
yeah,
I'm within all the error ranges. The family history is within all the error ranges, the error bars of the data.
Yeah.
So I'm going with 25%. 25% Italian, 25% Polish, 25% Mexican, and 25% Illinois farm boy.
Yeah. Do you want to give the update for where we're going next, and then we'll leave it at that?
And then we'll close it up. Yep. Mm-hmm. So next, I think we're going to Vienna tonight. Maybe we'll be in Vienna for a few days. I want to go to Budapest.
Yeah.
I want to go to Prague.
Yes.
My favorite author's from Prague, Milan Kundera. So I'd like to read some of his books up there. And then from there, I don't know. I'd like to go to Poland, but I don't know if it's going to be in the cards. We might need a beeline straight for France and
me and Joe
Spain.
Are both Polish, so that might be.
Yeah, but
that might be cool.
I'm actually Polish again, so that might be a cool place to go. Visit the homeland once again. But yeah, I'll have to keep you all tuned. You can follow my Instagram for day-by-day debauchery and stories at Jose4_Cuervo.
Yeah, follow me too at Ginny Kitties, and follow my podcast page at GandTea, and follow my food page. I take really good photos of food along the way, so if you're interested in food, follow Ginny's Eats.
Yes, and it's GINNY SEATS.
Yeah, Ginny's Eats. And don't forget to follow at Roses and Rhetoric.
Roses_Rhetoric. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We've had some fire albums of the week recently.
I can attest to that.
Go on there, see all them.
Follow them on YouTube and subscribe.
Yeah, YouTube. That's where all the episodes get posted. You can get live video where you can see the beautiful background here. I know that those of you listening won't be able to see it, but believe me, it's beautiful. Yeah, so follow us. And
I think it's raining.
Yeah, we better close this up.
Yeah.
So I'm Joseph Stanford on behalf of Ginny's Kitties. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.